Alright, well, it's getting close to the last week of April here in southern Michigan, and I figured I'd come out and see how the ramps are doing. And they're doing really good. These are ramps, or some people call them wild leeks. It's basically an onion, a wild onion. You can eat the entire thing. They grow in woodlands. Around here, that's where you find them growing, in the woods. Usually in rich soil. These ones are just getting going. The bulbs are still small, but the bulbs typically can get probably as big around as your thumb. And you usually notice this little bit of red on the stem. But the way to identify these for the table is just to crush up a bit of the leaf and smell it. It'll smell like onion or green onion, and that's how you can use these leaves, just like you would green onions. And you can also use the bulbs. I'll take these bulbs and I'll dry them, cut them up small and dry them, and make onion powder with them. But unlike store-bought onions, I'm gonna come back and harvest those. But unlike store-bought onions or store-bought leeks, these have a much stronger flavor. They're a bit on the hot side, but as a condiment or a seasoning, they work really good. I like eating them just as they are, raw, but they might be too hot for you. Oh, there's another little snake. But we don't really have a lot of spots locally where these wild leeks grow. And they seem to like this wood, so last season I brought about 5 or 10 plants, and I moved them about 20 yards or so and replanted them, and they're coming up again this spring. Something has been in here and has tore one of the leaves off, as a matter of fact. But I planted these last year, and it looks like, probably looks like most of them came back. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 7 there. And I planted somewhere between 5 and 10, so that's probably how many I planted. Looks like they're growing really good. Hopefully in another, I don't know, 5 years or so, those will be spread out into another nice little patch. Because there's only 2 or 3 little patches growing around here. It's pretty easy to spot them this time of year because there's not a lot of other green stuff growing. So if you walk into a rich woodland and you see a big patch of green, it's a good possibility that it's ramps. There are a few other things growing right now, but not much. Got a pair of mallard ducks over here. Couple mallard ducks hanging out there, but it's a pretty good wild edible. This is one of the easiest ones to ID. You know, all you really need to do is go out, and if you find a plant that has broad, flat leaves, and has a red stem near the base, and if you tear that off and squish it up in your hand and it smells like onions, you have wild leeks, or possibly some other member of the onion family. And they're a really good edible, especially with morel season and asparagus season coming up, and spring fishing. A little fresh fish, some fresh asparagus and morels and ramps. Saute that all up in a pan. There's another little patch of ramps. It takes them quite a while to spread. I've been keeping my eye on these for about 4 or 5 years, and they really haven't spread much in that time. So if you find a patch, try and be gentle with it. When you find these thick patches like this, one that I'm harvesting from, if you go right into the center of the patch and do your harvesting in patches, you'll somewhat thin them out, and as long as you put that dirt back when you're finished, it'll actually help them along, because it'll keep them from getting too overcrowded and dying out. But I try to limit my picking, you know. I could easily wipe this little patch out in just a couple seasons, really. But I usually just come here and I pick, I dig 3 or 4 spots up and end up with, you know, 20 to 30, maybe 40 or 50 wild leeks to take home, a bag full, and eat them fresh and dry the rest. Well, it's a nice day though. We had some serious thunderstorms last night, and now it's been cold and wet, and now it has cleared up and it's almost 70 degrees, so I think it's a good day to get out and do some hiking and check on some wild edibles. I'm gonna go ahead and harvest me up some of these wild leeks. And then I'm going to do a little hiking. They come up pretty easy though. I'd recommend you have a garden trowel or something to dig with, because being as they grow in the woodlands, there's lots of roots in this soil. So it's kind of hard to dig them up. And sometimes they can be under, you know, 6 inches of dirt. So sometimes you got to dig down pretty deep to get to the bulb. So just take you a little garden trowel and a paper grocery bag or a plastic bag, and gather you up a bunch of these, and after you've identified them, and give them a try. One of my favorite spring edibles. Wild leek. Ramp. It's allium species of plant. All plants in the allium family are edible, and that is the onion family of plants. They all have a distinct onion smell when you crush them and smell them, and they're all edible, the entire plant. I'll show you one more distinguishing feature of this wild leek, and that's the old flower seed stalks. You'll see those poking up, and that's a good sign. The only other plant around here that looks similar to this is Lily of the Valley, and it grows up around the same time, but it doesn't smell like onion, and it doesn't have those old flower seed stalks like that. So there you go. Wild leek ramp. Wild onions.